There we go. I think we're live now. There is a character, Timothy. I'm calling you Timothy. Sorry. There's a character concept that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've actually been using this as one of my characters in my D&D sessions. Is a sniffer, so like a gnome barbarian. So I came out. I mean, it's not like a super original concept, but it's a gnome, and he's a barbarian. So he's carrying a super big sword. This one right here. Oh my god, I fucking love this concept. It's so freaking cool. And I thought about doing this in a sort of like a mini series because it's not super complex, to be honest. I mean, it's a lot of anatomy. It's a lot of anatomy, and then we got the hair and the tabard. Yeah, it's super cool, right? Like if you like, I want to do it like super realistic. Well, not realistic, right? Because it's fantasy. The proportions are off. But yeah, it's like a Braveheart gnome. That's right. But I haven't been able to find who the author is to ask for permission. So I don't like just grabbing concepts and doing them. And I know technically YouTube is not like, you're not making any profit from it. It's like educational content. But I still feel like it's a good idea to contact the author just to ask for permission. And I haven't been able to find who the author is. I've done like a reverse image search and stuff, and I just can't find them. But yeah, I'm thinking about either doing something like this, or we've been playing Pathfinder, and there's a lot of monsters in Pathfinder that are really freaking cool. Some of them are like very traditional, like demons, orcs, and stuff like that. But every now and then you get some like crazy stuff. Look at this, for instance. That's very cool. There's also another one from D&D, the Vessel Chicken. Someone already did it, and they did a good job on the 3D. Like, I think this is the one. Yeah. So as you can see, someone already did the 3D model, but this is a fun little creature as well. So we're thinking, like, I definitely want to do another series on the YouTube channel, because I'm still gonna like upload tips and tricks and stuff, but we're gonna be doing that. Hey guys, welcome YouTube guys. I apologize. We started. Well, we didn't really start it. Well, I mean, we did start it, but I've just been talking for the past 15 minutes, and I thought the YouTube stream was running, but apparently it wasn't. So A2X3, what's up, man? Umang, Nitin, Peachy Juice, what's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I do want to make a creature course for my platform, but that's gonna be a kaiju. So I'm gonna ask my friend that's Fox, because he's designed monsters before, to design like a big kaiju monster for me, and then we're gonna do the whole thing. It's gonna be like cinematic, and at the end on that course, what I want to do is I want to integrate it on a plate. So I'm gonna go and like record like the mountains near my house, and have the monster like on the background, like just like coming out of the mountains or something. I think that would be pretty cool. So the next course, Priyanshu, is gonna be the substance course. I've actually, while I was lying in bed sick this past couple of days, I've been doing that, but like I've been working on the sketches and concepts. A2X3, no, and let me explain why I'm not gonna be uploading it to Skillshare. It's a little bit of a business decision, unfortunately, but there's like things that, as you guys know, we need to make decisions. So here's I'm gonna give you guys the rundown. So here's how Skillshare works. So Skillshare has like multiple courses, right? And you pay a subscription to join Skillshare. Okay, I don't know how much is the subscription. A2, can you tell me? Is it like $20 or something? Let's say it's $10. $10 for the subscription to Skillshare, and they tell you, hey, it's kind of like Netflix, right? You can watch any course that you want right here, and once you have this, you start watching. Now, what Skillshare does is it grabs all the money. Let's say they got $1,000 that month, They grab all the money, and they check how many minutes were watched on that platform that month, right? And let's say a total of 50,000 minutes were watched on the platform. And then they check how many of those minutes that were watched were yours, right? Like, let's say this is my course. Let's say you watched it. Let's say you watched the whole course. And from those 50,000 minutes, you watched 1,000 minutes. Okay? So from this $10, or from this $1,000 that they got that month, they take their cut. I'm not sure what their cut is. Let's call that X. And then they create another pool. Let's call that Y. And then this Y pool, let's assume it's going to be $500. They divide this $500 between the 50,000 minutes that were like that happened, right? So just cancel a couple zeros. That means that it's gonna be like 0.5 something. I don't know. The point is that you only get like a very, very, very small amount because it counts on how many minutes you watched. And there's a lot of ways in how people can like cheat the system, you know, like leave a computer playing and stuff like that, botting, all that stuff to just increase the revenue. So it becomes like a very small sort of like pull. And unfortunately, even though the content, I believe my content is valuable, the return of investment of the time that I spent creating the content, it's not the same and on here. But that's why we have our website, right? Like on the website, I'm trying to keep prices as competitive as possible. I know that the conversion of currency can be a little bit like difficult in some currencies, but again, I think $20 is fine. Well, it's fair, right? Especially if you've seen my content and you know how I'm very passionate about sharing that stuff. Let's see, what do we have here? Are you ever gonna do a superhero collectible course? Yeah, so let me give you guys the calendar for the year, or at least for the next couple of months. So February, we got Substance Painter. March, it's Anatomy, ZBrush. So on that one, we probably will be doing some sort of like superhero or like fantasy character or something, or sci-fi character, I don't know. But it's all about anatomy, right? So this one, this Anatomy plus ZBrush, we could probably add like a 3D printing like a chapter, so that you can 3D print your anatomy creation. I think that's a good combo, because if I just do a 3D printing course, it might not like sell as much because not everyone has a 3D printer. But if I bundle it up with like anatomy lessons, I think that could work. And then on April, we do the creature course. Yeah, that's ZBrush. Probably gonna be ZBrush plus Blender, because Blender has some really nice tools to integrate to a light plate. And then on May is probably gonna be a slow month because I got a lot of stuff scheduled there. It's my wedding anniversary, my wife's birthday. There's a family trip planned, so May might be a short course, probably like read topology or something like that. And then June, probably June and July, there's gonna be again like a small course still to be defined. And I definitely need to do environment because we haven't done environments yet. And environment for games is something that has been requested quite a bit. So I would say this is like the rough outline, the rough plan for the next couple of months, unless something changes. Like if we get some sponsorships or something, we might be able to switch things up. As a 3D artist, why we can't live a luxury life? Okay, my answer is going to be very philosophical on this one, but you need to define what the luxury life is for you. For me, right now, where I am at my life, I feel like I'm in like the best place ever, because I work from home, so my family's here if I want to see them. I make a good amount of money. I'm not rich or anything, but I have enough money to be able to pay for my stuff, save a little bit, go on a vacation once in a while, pay my equipment, stuff like that. So I'm not like swimming in money, of course, but it's a nice process. I get to do what I love, which is 3D and teach, and I get to meet you guys, amazing people. So to me, I feel like I'm rich because I have that. And I've talked to some of my friends that work on different industries. They're not artists, and whenever I tell them, "Oh yeah, I stream and I do 3D and I do this sort of stuff," it's always very interesting to see the response, because a lot of them are like, "I work in an office. I'm like, I don't know, an accountant, or I'm a engineer or whatever, and I hate my job. I hate going to my job every day, but I have to do it because it's what pays the bills and what allows me to keep my life together and stuff," right? So I do think we as artists pay a price, and that price is that we might not have a lot of money, but we do get to do something that we love and something that's very fulfilling for us. That doesn't have to be the case, right? Like, you should never like take a job as an artist where you're not being like paid properly. But like, I don't think an artist is ever going to be paid the same amount like a neurosurgeon, right? That's just not going to happen. Or like a space engineer, because what they do is really complicated, and it's like a bunch of different things. So yeah. Let's see. Roman, thanks for that, man. Yeah, hair cards tutorials. We're reaching out to the hair cards guys, to the it's called Fibershop, this software. I want to see if I can get some sort of like deal with them, because this is a very nice software to create the hair cards, to get like the maps. And then like whenever you're doing hairs, there's three main modules that you need to have like very, very well prepared. The first one is the hair creation, so all of this right here. So create the curves, random them out, etc., etc. The second step is placing the hair cards. That's another one of the tricky areas. And the last step is the shading inside of the engine that you're going to be using. So those are like the three main modules that you need. And yeah, we're going to be doing that. The Substance Painter course, Ben, is going to be a beginner for the first chapter, and then we're going to go really advanced. I'm going to show you UDEMs, I'm going to show you like complex materials, height construction, like it's going to be, I think it's going to be titled Complete Guide to Substance Painter. So if you've never used it before, it's going to be really good. If you've used it before and you want to like really find and learn about like little secret tips, tricks and techniques, then that one's going to be nice. Are you feeling well now? No, not really, Anjana. Not really. 3D Learner, what you left next to it? We had creative differences. 3D Learner, we had a different vision for the future, for what we wanted to do with what Nalin wanted to do with Nextdude, and what I wanted to do as a teacher myself. So since we couldn't really find a point of agreement, I decided to step down. Like, I wasn't fired or anything. It was me who just decided that my time there was done. I'm still very proud of all the work that I did with them, and I'm really happy with all of the courses. Like, if you guys want to get some of those courses, I can assure you that they still have like a really, really valuable information. But I wanted to do my own stuff, if that makes sense. Okay, cool. So feel a little bit more warmed up now. Andy, Priyanshu, what's up, guys? Greetings, Nida. Let's jump into portfolio review, okay? We're gonna jump into portfolio review. I'm gonna see how much I can handle this, because my throat is killing me a little bit. But well, let's take a look, and then these are portfolios, by the way, that were submitted last or for this month, for January. We were doing them last last Friday. Last Friday, it feels like an eternity since last Friday, but I couldn't finish them because I had to go. So I think we did see Igor, Ocean. I did talk about Ocean. I remember Ocean's portfolio. I'm pretty sure Igor was the last one that we see. Yeah, because we were going over the Batman one. Yeah, so that one we already covered. This one, Ocean, I think we've already covered it as well. I think I mentioned that the best thing that you could do was send this or work together with someone who has a stronger computer to get some nice renders out of Unreal Engine 5, so that you get Lumen and like like something that looks a little bit more cinematic, because you did manage to create a very nice project. So that would be my advice for you there, my friend. Steve Power is in the house, dude. I was hoping you were joined. Look at this. We got the new microphone. Thanks to you, guys. Razvan Stiefelbauer is the very, very generous. I'm gonna call you a Patreon or a sponsor, because thanks to him we were able to upgrade to this microphone. It's still not perfectly tweaked. I do feel it sounds a lot nicer than the other one, and it does eliminate a lot of the noise that I had here on the studio before. I had to get a little interface as well, and it's I love the sound of this. Thank you, Stiefelbauer. Danke. Okay, so let's go to the next one here. Yeah, I've seen this one as well. No, actually, this was the last one that I reviewed. I was talking about how you can remove all of the sparks to. Okay, yeah. Let's bring the music down. Is that better? Sorry about that. Yeah. How did you manage working on many softwares as a minor student? I can't even remember. It's just practice, but I do struggle every now and then. Like yesterday, I was trying the tablet on Blender and trying to sculpt, and I couldn't get the shortcuts to work because I just forgot about them. If I'm not wrong, your wife is a psychologist, and it's amazing to handle mental scenarios. Yeah, she's amazing. She has not a master's, a PhD in psychology. She has a what's the word? If you're in Mexico and you need help, contact me and I'll get you her contact information as well, because she has a PhD on Gestalt. It's called Gestalt or Gestalt psychology. It's a type of psychology. Very, very cool. Okay, so yeah, this one we've already seen. This one is the next one. Rihan Khan or Suleiman Ali. No, this one we also saw. Because I talked about the chameleon. Okay, so we were not that far behind. I think Adam is the last one. There we go. Cool. So we got Adam Jew right here. Adam has submitted before, because I remember the little purple guy right here, and he has created this little environment. The Redville Track and Field Center. Okay, I think the bump map on this Redville plastic things is way too much. Normally, I mean, unless they're concrete. If they're concrete, then it's probably fine. But if they're supposed to be plastic, they're supposed to be a lot smoother, more, yeah, just way smoother. And I would expect them to be plastic. Like right now, if I see, if I look at them, I'm thinking plastic. Yeah, this is good. I think the main issue, and I talked about this one or this thing on yesterday's short, is that whenever we're doing environments, a mistake that we do, or it's very easy to fall into this sort of mistake, is that things become way too modular and therefore way too pristine and clean. So this looks like that. This looks like a game that is very clean everywhere. So there's no oil stains. The pavement is completely clean. There's no tire marks. There's no garbage. There's no dust. There's no leaks here on the walls. And unless this was just built and it's completely new, you would expect to see a little bit of that. Same for the windows, right? Like if you guys can see here, Adam closed all of the windows. You might want to keep some of them open. There's a trick that they did on the Spider-Man games to make the windows more interesting, where they use parallax to make it seem like there was a full room inside when it's actually just an image. So that kind of stuff, it's a good option there for this one. JJ Robert says, in your opinion, as a character artist, is it better to specialize in one specific style of characters or a variety of styles? Variety is always better. And actually, this is very funny. When I first graduated at Noman, I always presented myself as a character artist. Nowadays, I'm more of a 3D producer, and therefore I'm more of a generalist. So I now, when people talk to me or ask me what do you do as a 3D artist, I tell them a little bit of everything, but I do have a little bit more experience doing characters. What is real-time BFX, and is there an importance to it? Real-time BFX and genre are the types of BFX that you see in games, and yes, it's very, very important, and there's a big difference because they need to happen in real time. There's no time for you to render the images out, so you need to see them in real time. Nowadays, again, with Unreal Engine, we have access to things like Niagara, which is a very cool plugin inside of Unreal that generates the elements, and it's really good. There's another one called Emergen. It's another one of those softwares that I wanna see if I can get a deal with them to teach a class probably later in the year. But Emergen is a software that allows you to create all of this like explosions and things like that, fire, wind. It's very, very cool. You can even do like this like very fancy stylized stuff. Well, this is a mix of everything. So the smoke is that, and then all of those like painted ones are probably done somewhere else. But that smoke that you see like puffing out, that's the sort of stuff that you can do with Emergen. And you need this to be in real time. You need this to run very quickly so that it can run when you're doing the game. So yeah, that would be my advice for you again, my friend. Just try to add a little bit more roughness to the whole thing, or not roughness, just a little bit more dirt. And don't do this on the textures that you already have. You are gonna be looking into something called decals, which are literally like stickers that you place on top of the elements to make it a little bit more interesting. But it's a nice render. I really like this render. And also, who was it? There we go. Ocean, reach out to Adam. He seems to have a nice computer to do this kind of renders. Maybe you guys can collaborate and make sure that this one that you did, Ocean, looks as nice as this one on the render side of things. Collaboration is super important. We mentioned this last week or the week before when we were going over the League of Legends trailer. That's important to always like if you want to do super ambitious projects, you will get a better result if you're working with a little like group of people. Like I'm actually, I think you guys are gonna see him in just a second, but there's a guy that I want to collaborate with in here. Let's go just deep. There we go. Do you recommend putting the work done in a course like yours in a portfolio? It depends. If you get a really good result, then yes, sure. But the thing is that tutorials or tutorials or courses, they're meant to teach you the tools. They're not meant to make you or create a portfolio piece. However, and here's why I recommend. Someone actually did this. There we go. So Carl here, he created this render of my Introduction to Maya course that again is available on the site in case you guys want to check it out. And what he did is he took the information from that course and he did his own variation. Okay, he changed a lot of stuff. He changed the proportions of the islands, of the rocks. He changed the little house a little bit. So that is like, in my opinion, you can't always do this with all tutorials, but there are a lot of them that do, or where you can follow this sort of stuff. If you can follow the tutorial and do your own variation of the tutorial, that's way more valuable, because people will know. They'll shoot this little island, they'll be like, oh, I've seen this tutorial before, it's by Apes, right? But he did his own spin on it, so it's way more original than just following the tutorial like piece by piece. JJ Rob is asking, how would that environment variation you mentioned usually be created? Would you create a bunch of variations of No. You would create, again, decals. They're called decals. So, if you look for stain decals, for instance, they're literally just planes, like this, that have the information, like all of the normal map information, the roughness, the specularity, everything. And then you literally just place this, look at this. You place all of these things, like, literally 1 millimeter on top of the surface of the street, of the houses, of the walls, and it just adds a lot more detail. This is, by the way, the if you guys remember, if you remember the CS maps, Counter-Strike back in the day, or in any shooter, when you shoot at the wall and you see the bullet holes, it's usually a decal, because you cannot like predict where the player is gonna shoot. So what happens is on the point where it detects that the ray hits the wall, it just spawns this little like square with a bullet hole texture, so that it looks like the bullet hole impacted there. And you spawn a little bit of like smoke and maybe some debris falling. Like there's a lot of things that you can do to make these things look very nice. But decals are a very, very good way to keep performance low on your games. Okay, let's go here. So this is a nice gun. I mean, I like the fact that you have your own sight, Jasdeep. That's nice. It's not always needed, but it's nice. I do see that we need to improve the render a little bit. It's very dark. The render looks very, very dark. And in general, I would say the complexity of the objects that you're showing here is very simple, okay? Even this room right here. Like, I look at this room, and at first glance, it might look like a complex scene. But there's a lot of things that are a little bit weird. For instance, we have a huge chair right here, and then the little horse right there is very small. And then the telescope is even bigger right here. And then the bed is really low. So there's a lot of things that you need to check to make sure that the proportions of things are right. Because otherwise, it just doesn't make sense from all of the different elements. So be careful there, okay? You don't want to have a lot of stuff that doesn't play well together. Now I can see that you have the basics of the pipeline. Like, you understand modeling, you understand texturing, you understand a little bit of rendering, but now you need to polish that. So you are past the point of learning the softwares, because it looks like you already know most of the tools within the softwares, but you need to make something that's like really complex. Let me give you an example. Like, I really like that like the leather canteen. So if you're gonna be doing a leather canteen, like, don't don't just do a circle with a couple of borders. Go for... Why are we not getting the alerts? Oh my god, really? Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. My bad, guys. My bad. I was not on the stream section. I've been moving things around, so that's why we were not able to hear them. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, I'm not feeling great. That, like, the chat was not visible, and the alerts were not visible. Tamalitos OP, thanks for the follow, man. So yeah, if you're gonna be doing a canteen, for instance, go for a complex one. Look at this. Look at the nice border that we have right there. The complexity on the cap. This leather band right here. The other leather band that we have right here. And even if you go for a simple one like this, there's still a lot of complexity here that I'm not seeing on this one right here on the floor. It kind of looks cool because of the textures, but again, when you look at the models, it's a very, very simple model. Javier LQ, there you go, man. Thanks for the prime. Our goal for subs now is 50 subs. We're really close to 50 subs here on the channel, and 1,000 followers will be nice eventually. We're getting really close there as well. Okay, so yeah, that would be my advice, man. Go for more complex stuff, and try to follow a concept, because I feel like you're doing a lot of things from imagination, and they really don't. Like, it's difficult to know that you can follow something if you're not following an element. So, one great way to look for inspiration is, for instance, the art books. If you go into the art books of your favorite games, there's a lot of unused concepts and unused unused concepts and unused things that you can work. Javier says, Neo around here, but always love seeing artists helping other artists. Looking forward to catching some streams and learning. Hey, welcome, man. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff. We got a YouTube channel full of tutorials and things like that. I got courses, and we got an amazing Discord as well if you want to join, with more people helping each other out. So, for instance, let's say you're a character artist and you're like, oh, what character should I do? Well, you can do this one, for instance. I don't think this one made it into the game, and this is the kind of character that, like, if you can show that it came from the Bioshock book, it's gonna give you a lot of points, because, like, oh, this guy could follow or followed an asset that's like really, really like polished and created a game ready thing, right? So same for guns. I'm not sure if I can find a gun right now here from Bioshock. But if you look, like I have a bunch of art books. All of this, like right here, are art books from things that I've collected. But you can even like get them online. So getting inspiration from there for props, for weapons, for environments, and then doing it yourself, it's a very good way. Look at this. There we go. Look at that. So this is the gun, right? Like the different versions of the gun for the Bioshock Infinite series. And this is the kind of stuff that you can do. Tony Jusic says, love the streams. And I love you, random citizen. Thanks for the kind words, man. I'm glad that this is helping. Okay. Like this one, this is a great one. This is a portrait. Like you want to practice something and you want to practice it in a way that you can show that you can follow a concept. Grab this thing right here. You have the side view, you have the front view. Do a nice portrait. You don't even need to do the full character, but do the full pipeline, right? Like do modeling, sculpting, topology, textures, render, and that's a great project. Grateful Pixels says, hey man, is it okay to learn 2 softwares simultaneously at a time, like learning Maya and Nuke, for example? Yes, but I never learned a software just to learn the software. My best advice, and this is something that I don't remember where they got it from. I did a short that got really, really big with this advice. Whenever you're learning something, learn it based on a goal. So like ask yourself, what do I want to learn? What do I need? What do I want to do, right? Like, for instance, I want to do a character that's moving inside of Unreal. Okay, then you start investigating and check how many things you're going to need to learn to get your character to move into Unreal. You might need to do the character, rig it, use motion capture. Like, there's a bunch of ways to do it. And as you go pursuing that specific goal, you are going to be learning softwares. So for instance, if you want to learn Maya and Nuke, that probably means that you want to do some integration of Lava Light Plane, right? Because Nuke is usually used for that. Thanks for the follow, Robert. So if you do that, what you need to do is like, okay, I'm going to, for instance, model a robot, texture it, and then I'm going to record myself on a forest or something, and I want the robot to be like just lying there. Well, you learn only the tools that you need to achieve that goal, and while you're pursuing that goal, you're gonna learn about the software. You're not gonna learn everything about the software, but you're gonna have to learn the important things so that you can get that result. And I think that's a more like smart way of learning things. So yeah, that would be my advice, man. Just grab some concepts, go a little bit more ambitious on your creations. And I think that's gonna help you. Huzaifa is a very active member of our community. Do we have a message? I need a lot of improvement. We want to get an idea from what to add and what to remove. Okay, let's take a look. Let's go to all. Okay, so we got 21 pieces, and the first thing I noticed is that we got a lot of simple stuff. So my advice, as with everything, is that it's very important to don't saturate your portfolio with things that can be combined into a single one. For instance, you got here the rook, the queen, the king, and the bishop. You're missing the horse for all the major pieces. Make just one post with the element, and finish the chessboard, right? Like add some textures, add some light. I'm very proud of this one that I'm about to show you, and I hate doing this because I don't like to show stuff. Because it feels like I don't know, like, what's the word? I feel like I'm a douche and I'm just showing you something. But there's a way to, like, if you model your stuff and then you add a little bit of render and a little bit of light, you can get a very sort of like professional looking render. More cinematographic render, and it's a simple exercise. Like if you look at this pieces right here, it's just a very, very simple sort of like glass chess set, and modeling the pieces will take you 2-3 hours. Modeling the board will take you another hour, maybe. So this whole project could be like a one-day project, and just with one day you can already have a piece that could be from a shot in a movie. And it's not the same to present it like this, which is fine, right? Like this looks fine, this looks pretty, but it's not the same to present it like this than it is to present it like this. So presentation, and this is another quote from freaking Megamind, but it's all about presentation. Like, how do you present your work and your stuff will really make a difference. And I feel like that's one of the things that you can improve in this one, my friend. Like, if you start improving your presentation, even with some of these old projects like this, like very minimalistic things, it could look just a little bit better. Now, I do feel like pretty much from the phone down, like all of these projects might not be portfolio worthy, but this one, for instance, I really like. This one's fun. This one looks nice. Looks like this sort of like mechanical bird or something. So you can look at that. I don't usually recommend adding all of this information here, or at least not as visually like this. It's way too in your face, right? So just keep it a little bit subtle, because otherwise it's competing against whatever it is you're doing. Especially here in the thumbnails, you can see how it makes the thumbnails look a little bit dirty, having like the icons, and then on some of them you have it on one side, and on some of them you have it on another side. Some of them are slightly like diffused, some of them don't have it. So keep it consistent. If you're gonna be adding that, keep it consistent, and again, keep it brief. Another very common thing is that people will add just the renders here in ArtStation, and they won't create a square render for use on their compositions, and then your art just looks a little bit weird. Juan Marco is asking, hey, I used to get your courses during your days as an X2 lecturer. I was hoping I could get some advices from you. I'm planning to making a rigging showreel, so I want some advice about it. Yeah, sure, man. If you want, join the Discord and shoot me a message over there, and I'll be happy to help. Over here on the chat, it might be a little bit difficult to follow, but if you send me a message on Discord, I'll be happy to take a look at your projects. Dalton Costa. Hi, I'm Dalton Costa. I'm from Brazil. I work as a freelancer 3D prop environment artist. Here's my portfolio for review. Let's take a look. Nice. Nice. Yeah, this is good, man. I love this Victorian bedroom. Like, I immediately saw it and was like, damn, this is nice. Okay, so my main issue with this one is scale. I think scale-wise, the pillars are way too big. Like, they're massive. Because again, you whenever we see a picture, an environment picture, we always make mental sort of like correlations between all of the different objects. And if I see this chair and I see this bed, I can imagine. Let me actually take this into Photoshop. So if I am right here, I can imagine that a human is probably gonna be like this big, right? So that he can fit on the chair, he can fit on the element. So look at how massive these columns are, like really, really massive. And usually, at least the ones that I've seen in real life, they're not as big. They will be like a little bit smaller, probably like half. The ceiling is also very, very high, very high. And usually in Victorian like houses, like technology was not that good to create like high buildings, so it just looks a little bit off in the proportion. Now the assets, they all look great. I really like how the assets look. And again, here's the thing about, like, you always need to do a little bit of research, and I know you did it because otherwise it would be pretty impossible to do this, but we need to make some decisions. I've never been to a house where people are having the pictures of their family members on their bedroom. Like, imagine you're having your fun time with your spouse or something, and you just look to the side and there's all your uncles and aunts on your pictures. That's a little bit weird, right? So, yeah, and also as Crudo is saying, imagine having to change those light bulbs. You're gonna have to bring a stair. It's just not as practical. So usually on bedrooms, and again, this is where research is important. If we look for Victorian bedroom, you're gonna see that there's not gonna be a lot of pictures. Look at this. No pictures. It's just the wallpapers, the windows. Like, there's one picture right there, but that's like more modern, so it doesn't even make sense. Look at this. No pictures. You get mirrors. That's more common, right? You get some sort of like maybe decoration, like not pictures. Again, these are more like again like paintings, right? So it just looks weird to have the family members right there. And also keep in mind, like, it's weird to have photographs, because all of this looks like photograph on a Victorian thing that's supposed to be older. I'm not sure when photograph was invented. I think it was like the 1800s or something, but it's just about that stuff. So So that would be my advice. And that's the thing. Dalton, you are already in the next step of being an artist, which is you already know the tools. You already have a nice presentation. Now we need to think about the details. Like, how are we gonna take design things into consideration? Because you need to think about how people are gonna interpret your work. But that one's good, man. You're in Peru? No, you're in Brazil. It's Lima. Lima is in Peru. But yeah, you get some nice assets as well. Now, I would say try to remove some of the simple assets and focus on the big environments like this Phantasmagoria. This looks good, man. Oh, this looks really good. Yeah, this looks very, very nice. I like this little project under construction. It's not necessary, but I like it. And yeah, this is good, man. I might call you in a couple of months when we get more work, maybe, to do some environments. Another thing that I'm noticing, oh, this is very nice prop. Another thing that I'm noticing, man, is that you have a lot of very dirty stuff. Well, not dirty, very grungy stuff, right? Like it's a lot of dirt, a lot of rust, a lot of stuff like that. You might want to add a couple of clean sort of like product renders or models as well, just to have the range on the stuff. Igor says, hi, I just about to learn a real-time engine. Need some advice what to choose, Marmoset or Unreal? Unreal. An engine means that you can play in it. So in this case, Unreal is a game engine. Marmoset is not a game engine. Marmoset is a software. It's a rendering software and texturing as well, but it's not an engine because you cannot play in it. Now, if you don't want to deal with engines and you just want to present your stuff in a real-time engine or a real-time renderer like Marmoset, then Marmoset's amazing. I love Marmoset. I have my license and everything, but it's not an engine. It's a slightly different. However, if you can make something look nice on Marmoset, that really helps for your portfolio, and that shows whoever is checking your portfolio and checking your stuff that you know the game pipeline. So good stuff, man. Dalton, very, very good stuff. Congratulations. Karius Kawalik. The Victorian bedroom has oh, Dalton, you're there. Let's go. Yeah, if you guys are here, let me know. That way I can ask you more direct questions. Where's the video? Where's the video? There we go. Yeah, I mean, the optimization and everything looks very nice. I'm not sure where you did the curtains and the sheets. Hopefully you simulated them in like Marbles or Maya or something, because that makes it look a little bit nicer. Yeah, okay, here's another advice, because again, you're doing this quite a bit with the photographs. If you're gonna be doing photographs, that's fine, but again, remember, if it's supposed to be Victorian, like the photographic industry was not there yet, right? Like to do a photograph this big, for instance. So try to go into some like AI engine or Photoshop or something and do a filter where it looks like an oil paint, and that's gonna make it look a little bit nicer. Because another thing that I noticed, and this is again, we were talking about design. This picture of this woman right here, she looks like she's from the 50s. Like she's wearing this like dotted polka dress, and that's very 50s, I think, or 40s. So Victorian, we're talking about 1800s, 1900s, or early 1900s. So it's very, very important to always try to match your things. Like I can understand that maybe they moved it into this old house in the 50s or in modern times, and that's why things don't make sense, but it just jumps to me that the timepieces are not matching, because you got a lot of stuff from the Victorian age, and then you got some stuff from like modern times. So again, you might want to take a look at that. But good stuff, Dalton. This looks amazing. Yeah, so I think eventually we're gonna do a course where I teach you how to do this kits to build your own stuff. Cool. Okay, this is Dariusz Kawalek from Poland. Nice. This was one of the first tutorials I did a couple years ago. Very, very cool. Yeah, there's my name, Abraham. Nice, nice. Yeah, this was a very advanced course because we covered a lot of stuff. It was like 100 hours or something. And this is a nice result, man. I like it. Good stuff. Now, for instance, some of you were asking, like, should I use a tutorial piece as my portfolio? As Darius is doing right here, it's fine. But the thing is, I have the original, right? Like, Do I have the renders right here? There we go. So I got the original. This was the result from the course. And the problem is, people will compare your result to the original result. And I'm not saying this is my best work or anything, but the thing is, you need to understand that people will compare it to this. So if you can match this, then you're fine. But if yours falls a little bit below the line, then people are just gonna like this one, might like this one a little bit more. If you surpass it, then cool, like that's great. That's what I want. Whenever I'm teaching, my main goal when I'm teaching is that you guys don't spend as much time as I had to spend to get to a result like this. So yeah, this is a fun character. It's been a while since I last saw it. The concept was by Charles Liu. So yeah, it's fine to use portfolios or tutorials as portfolios, but just be careful. There we go. Now you're applying stuff, right? Like in this one, I can see that you applied some of the stuff from the demon and you created your own stuff. Careful with the density. I do feel it's a little bit dense. It can be optimized a little bit further. And especially on the arms, you can give a little bit more form and just like power to it. You're welcome, Dalton. You are welcome. Yeah, it was a very fun course. Unfortunately, those super long format courses are not as, like, what's the word, marketable as they were a couple years ago. People want like faster courses, just like in 5 hours, 10 hours to show me everything. And it's possible, but it's tricky as well. There we go. Nice. Yeah, I think in your case, Darius, my best advice is to work a little bit more in anatomy. You have a good grasp of it, but there's still a couple of like areas. Here's a very good one. Let's go to Photoshop. So the arm, whenever you're working on the arm, you need to remember the silhouette. So you have the trapezius muscle coming, and then the deltoids kind of like puff out a little bit. You're gonna create this sort of like shelf on the deltoid muscle. Oh, I love this new tablet. You're gonna be pushing this right here and creating the arm. And remember that with muscles, it's very important how the insertion of the muscles work. So here, the deltoid goes into the arm. Sorry, the pectoral muscle goes into the arm. And then, well, first you have the bicep, like that. There's like a little cave, that's the deltoid, and then the pectoral, and then you have the deltoid. So the insertion of the muscles is also very important to give yourself a really like realistic arm. And then this muscle right here is the external carpi radialis longus and the brachioradialis. That's the name of the muscles. It's two muscles pretty much together. That's one, and that's the other one, and they insert almost all the way over here. So you're gonna see the insertion point way higher than what you normally expect, and that's how you're gonna get like a really strong arm. Look at the difference of the strength in this arm. And I'm not really like buffing it out and making it like super puffy. It's just about the silhouette. Janitas, we gave a little bit of a spoiler earlier today. I'm not sure where it is. Well, the latest one is of course the Marvelous one, the Marvelous Designer course. But it's gonna be this month. It's gonna be, or February, it's gonna be Substance Painter, and then we're gonna have an anatomy course, which we're probably gonna be combining with 3D printing as well. So yeah, this is the external carpal radialis longus and stuff. So yeah, it's just about like managing your forms a little bit better here. For instance, here I would expect to see a little bit more of the latissimus dorsi, and then over here we got the oblique, right? Like all of this area is the oblique. It's just about refining the anatomy a little bit. Same for the face. On the face, we need to have like the proper muscles like following the shape of the character, and this is all about practice. Now I like the fact that you know the full pipeline, you know the sculpting, modeling, texturing, all that stuff. That's pretty cool. Andre, yes, it's late, man. Actually, we're doing this because I couldn't finish the portfolios last Friday, but we're gonna be opening the new portfolio submission for next for next month. Make sure to join the Discord channel. We're gonna have an announcement when we open the submissions. It's probably gonna be like on Monday before the month ends. So yeah, good stuff, Darius. And great name. Your name is so epic. Darius is like a very powerful name. So another advice is try doing a female character. Female characters are really like interesting because the shapes of a female body are usually softer and more subtle than the male character. So we need to be more mindful on how we create the whole anatomy. But good stuff, man. Good stuff. Okay, let's go now to Zahir. Okay, so Zahir has 4 elements. Again, presentation-wise, like you guys tell me, you see these 4 pieces here from Zahir. Which piece has the best presentation? Which piece would you guys say has the best presentation? This is a little exercise for you to develop your artistic eye as well, for you to detect which one looks good. Sarn says the bike. The far right, the bike. The Instax. We got a vote for the Instax. The bike one. Okay? The camera. The second on the right, so the camera. Interesting. Interesting. See, I would say the bat, actually. I would definitely click on all of this. They all have this. But I'm going to tell you why, as an art, like especially when I'm doing this portfolio reviews, why the bat, to me, works the best. And the reason is, it's clear, it's clean, and it's like, there's absolutely no question on what I'm looking at. This bike is a very nice cinematic render. This one is a very nice close-up shot. But when I'm looking at analyzing the technical aspects of your portfolio, the bat is the one that's like that's exactly what I'm looking for, okay? Because this one, I know when you have fog, usually fog is very good. It's a very nice way to add stuff, but fog hides stuff as well, right? Like it hides things. See, like I would probably have picked one of this integrated renders as your thumbnail instead of the fog one, because the fog is, again, it just hides stuff. It's not, it doesn't allow you to see everything, and it might not look as clean. So yeah. Well, sorry. The camera is good. I do feel like there's a little bit too much texture on the plastic, or too much roughness. If it's plastic, I would make it a little bit less rough. It's very dense. I mean, for a product render, it's fine, but it's a little bit too dense, I would say. Like, look at this. This render looks way better than the other ones, especially on the material or with the shaders. Like, that looks a little bit more realistic, I think. So I guess, my friend, the next step that you need to do is work on your renders. Very careful with these renders. Oof, these renders hurt me. They hurt me so much. And the reason why this hurt me is because you have some very nice models on the cameras, and then you do this with the table, man. Like, what the hell? Why are you doing this? This table material that you're using is horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And you guys have absolutely no excuse to be using this type of materials nowadays. When I was a student 10 years ago or 13 years ago, that's possible. There you go, Emir. Thanks for the sub, man. So the thing with like several years ago, it was very difficult, or not difficult, but it was a lot more tricky to have like really cool looking materials. Nowadays, there's so many free resources. I personally love Polyhaven, but I know there's a lot of them out there. You want to do like a picnic table? There you go. Just grab this texture right here. Download it at 4K. If you're using Blender, you don't even need to connect anything. You just download the scene, and look how nicer this wood looks. Like, imagine if we had this wood on this table right here. Wouldn't that make the whole render better? The answer, by the way, is yes. So it would make the whole render a lot better. So yeah, never do something if you're not gonna do it like the full way. I'm not sure. You guys remember this quote from Yoda? Do or do not. There is no try. I think it's the quote, right? Like, if you're gonna do a wooden table for your render, do a good wooden table. Don't just conform yourself with a very basic texture, glossy, plasticky texture like this one. Like, do the full thing. Same for this one. If you're gonna add a speaker here, make sure to research, because I've never seen a glossy speaker like this. Yeah, Rob, that's exactly right. If you don't want to spend the time doing this full thing, just keep it like this right here. This is perfect. But if you are gonna do something like this, you need to do it the full way. That's what I did with the latest course with the what's the word? The Marvelous Designer. Oh, actually, I have it right here. So when I was doing the renders, I did a clean render, which is this one right here. This is the one that we're using for the thumbnails and stuff, so that we show the cloud and stuff like that. But then I said I want to do a small environment, and I did it. But I spent my time. It was like, I don't know, like 3 hours or something, doing the full environment on the background, like the like this, like hanging a piece of cloth, the boxes, the walls, getting nice textures, getting nice light. Because if you just like half-ass it, then people are just gonna like look the other way. Now this band, again, as I was mentioning, from a visual perspective, it's perfect. Like, this looks very, very nice. I love the wire, looks very good. The textures, like, I could totally see this in a zombie game. I would probably change the leather a little bit. It looks a little bit weird. But other than that, this is a nice one. And finally, this phone thing, textures, man. I think you need to improve the textures and your shaders. I'm not sure where you're rendering this, but the glass looks very plasticky. And I would expect this to look like glass. Nowadays, again, you got no excuse. Marmoset has glass. Unreal has glass. Even Substance has glass. So you definitely wanna push your textures a little bit more there. Okay, let's go with the next one. We got one of our I think Ryan boosted the server. That's why he's got the special rank. There you go, Ryan. Nice stuff, man. Chatel from Turkey. Okay, I'm not gonna click on this one because I don't want to get banned, but it's probably a female character from what I can see right there. Let's start with this one. So presentation wise, you got a nice render, which I like, but I'm gonna be brutally honest with you, my friend. We need to work way more on the forms of our body, okay? Like, there's absolutely no form here on the eye. There's absolutely no form on the mouth. It looks very smooth, which is weird. I can see that this was probably done in Blender due to the colors of the thing. And topology wise, we also need to work on the topology. Like, this is not the topology that you want for an eye, because it's not going to deform well if you're closing it or opening it. So I know that might have been an old project. This one looks a little bit better. Easy on the bump. It's way too much bump. Keep it way subtler. My usual advice for students is, if you don't know how much bump you need, do half of whatever you have. And if that half that you're doing is still too much, keep going down. Yeah, it looks like it's just way too much texture, right? Like, there's too much change there. Sure. Sure. Here we go. So whenever you're doing topology, especially on the face, the loops, and we have a video on the YouTube, by the way, for this, if you want to check it out. But you should have a loop going around the eyes. Let's go for it. Green color. So there's going to be a loop going around the eye, and then a big loop going around the eye, and then a bigger loop going around both eyes, kind of like a mask, like this. So this connects like this. So you're going to have an edge loop that's going to go on this direction, and then the next loop goes around. Then on the nose, or on the mouth actually, you're going to have another loop around the mouth, like starting for the lips. It's like a loop, and then the nose, it's going to be looped on itself as well. And then you're just going to have this thing flowing like this. That's the sort of like grid-like stuff that you want. That's edge flow, man. Topology is edge flow. The control of topology is edge flow. But I know what you're asking for, man. I'll probably do a YouTube video about how to clean up those booleans. I don't use booleans too much, to be honest, because they are very destructive. I only use them for the high polys, for instance. If I'm doing low polys, no need to use booleans if you can keep your stuff clean. Okay, this one's cool. It's a lot more complex. And the form on the eyes and everything is looking a little bit better. Even the mask is looking good. Now, on this one, what I want to see is I want to be able to see some topology, because I'm not sure if this is a game character or if this is a what's the word? It must be a game character, because you're saying here that you worked for Full Tank Studios. That's great, man. Yeah, this is cool. Now, another question that I might have is, what was it that you did here? Because, oh, there you go. Head sculpting, texturing, and hair grooming. Okay, cool. Okay, if that's what you did, if you did the head sculpting, the texturing, and the hair grooming, show more of that. I know it's very impressive to see the full character, but again, remember that this is something that a lot of people worked on, so it's important to, what's the word? To share the character so that you get the click, right? You get the thumbnail nice and everything, but also show me exactly what you did, like the breakdown of your contribution, so that we can analyze that a little bit better. But that one's a cool character. There you go. So this one did improve on the bumpiness of the skin. That's good. Careful with this hair. Looks a little bit weird. The eyes look great. Very nice. Nice. Yeah, this is good, man. Cool. So it seems like you're working on this studio Futhark. That's great, man. And yeah. These guys are more stylized. They look really, really good. See, you guys were asking if you can use Blender for production, and look at here, Chatel is doing just that. He's doing just that. They're doing some nice productions here with Blender. That's really cool. Nice. Luca is a student currently from India. Nice. Okay, so if you're a student, you don't need to have a portfolio. That's the first one. I mean, you can, of course, but unless you have a lot of pieces, it might actually be like counterproductive. This kind of stuff is the kind of stuff that I recommend sharing on your socials, so that people know that you're doing 3D and you get stuff like that. But it's not something that you like. This one right here. Like it's a nice little model, right? But it's not really portfolio worthy, so it's not really necessary to have it. And this one, on the other hand, this looks a lot more complete. Here you're making the same mistake that I've talked thousands of times about. I'm not gonna go into in depth on this one today, but the metal edge is everywhere, so be careful with that. And this one is very cool. Like, this is a perfectly game ready asset. The only thing that we would need to check is the amount of triangles, but the texture looks very nice. So it's just about like checking. Yeah, if this is game asset, it's about checking the 3D angles. If it's not, if it's for film or whatever, that's fine as well, because it's a really nice texture. Like, it looks great. Like, this is what you could definitely find in a dangerous neighborhood. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, Priyanshu, if you want like a superhero anatomy, the Oni course that we did also covers that quite a bit, and it's all about high poly sculpting. So you might want to check that one out. It's this one. Right. So we go over like really exaggerated anatomy on the ZBrush course. So that one. Like it's 2 or 3 full chapters on the full anatomy for the whole body, and the high poly of this character. Agree. Right now there are no submissions open for the portfolio, but we will be adding one on Monday, so that you can submit it for the February review. Okay. So just wait a little bit. So yeah, man. Kustuf, this is good stuff. I really like your texture work. You seem to have a nice eye for textures. These are definitely heavy or high poly elements, so careful with that. But yeah, just keep going. Careful here. I usually like to keep a center line down my elements. I'm not sure why you got that like weird like smoothing effect. Maybe you needed it for the topology, but try to keep it straight if possible. There you go. Now we cube. Thanks for the follow, man. And sorry guys, I don't have the like a huge amount of energy today. Mr. J says, will you also have a modular environment? Yes, that one's gonna be like in the middle of the year probably. I should have kept the little like guide of upcoming courses. Oh. Okay, that's cool, man. Sesta, yeah, I can see you here. Cool. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, the principles are the same, Priyanshu. If you know the basis, or if you know the rules, which is what I teach in my courses, then it's very easy to adapt them to whatever you need. So imagine if you had to have a course on how to model a chair, how to model a bed, how to model, I don't know, whatever. It might be a little bit complicated to follow. Gabriel Ayana, aspiring 3D artist. Yeah, this is good stuff, man. I see some cool characters. We need more practice. I would say that's pretty much the main thing here, like more anatomy. And I can see that you're going for a stylized look, so like anime-ish look. It's another one that I want to do. I want to do like a Genshin Impact character. That's probably gonna be in the end of the year to show some cell shading and some of the things that we can do. Yeah. Let's see how far we can go, David. Let's see. Cool. Yeah. Gabriel, I'm not sure. Like, I don't have a message here of specifically what you want to do. Oh, characters. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to do characters, you need to do more full body studies. So if you're doing like Bruce Wayne, Batman, that's perfectly like good character. You need to do like the muscles, anatomy, like we were talking right now. Like you need to know about that sort of stuff. Ave, are you a fan of the Xenoblade Chronicles? Dude, of course, I'm a huge fan of it. I'm waiting for my. I've never bought a Figma figure before. This like collectible like premium figures, and they announced the Mio one last year, and I immediately reserved one. It's supposed to be shipping on February, I think. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Xenoblade. I wasn't. I suddenly got Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Switch like several years ago, and I was hooked, man. I was hooked. Do I know Elemensa? Yeah, Elemensa is really good. Well, I mean, dude, if you want to like learn about Elemensa stuff, he's got tutorials as well. Go watch that guy as well. Like I'm not the only one who has all the information. There's so many information, or so much information out there. Now with QB, hello, I'm from Mexico and I speak Spanish. I'm learning English and 3D. I can understand you a little. I'm liking your stream. Perfecto, mi estimado. Sí, si necesitas cualquier cosa, ahí únete al Discord y también en español te puedo ayudar, sin problema. Tengo programas también de mentoría 1 a 1 aquí en México y en inglés o lo que necesites. ¡Órale! Sí, ¿qué pensaban? ¿Que no hablo español? No, claro que hablo español. Oh, thanks, Robert. Yeah, I think that's one of my best skills. Again, not trying to brag too much, but I do find that I have a relatively easy way to try to explain things in a way that's easy for everyone to understand. Okay, let's go with the next one. This is Sesta. Hi, Abe. I'm Amar, and I want advice on how to improve my portfolio to get more jobs. Generally, I'm having difficulties getting any jobs on Upwork. I was originally working for Roblox games, and some pieces in the portfolio show so. I don't know if that is the issue or what exactly, but I really need your help. See, I don't know too much about the Roblox thing. I've been getting a lot of stuff lately about that. Like, there seems to be a market there. I'm completely unaware of that market, to be honest. But we'll see that. Your channel's growing day to day. Very happy to see it. It's thanks to you, Mr. J. You and everyone else here on the stream right now. It's thanks to you guys' support that we've been able to grow. Of course, I'm doing my part, right? I'm grinding every day with Sarn as well to make sure that we get this information and all of the stuff that you guys need as soon as possible. Yeah, this is good, man. I mean, again, I'm not too familiar with the Roblox interface, so I'm not sure what kind of stuff they're expecting. If it's just sort of like texture work or models. Like, this looks cool. I mean, if it's sort of like a Lego game, this looks cool. The thing is, if you look at your portfolio, you see a lot of this sort of like simple stuff, right? So my best advice for you is trying to do something that's a little bit more challenging. Now, another thing is, I'm not sure if all of these things that you're showing here are following like the traditional game pipeline of sculpting, retopology, textures, rigging, animation, but or if it's just like materials and low polys. If it's just materials and low polys, then my best advice is to start learning a little bit about the full process, and this is the course for that, the AAA weapon for games. This one is the one that I would recommend, because we go through the full like a production for this act right here. We should add, David, could you make a note of this, because I think it would be cool if we could add some renders in here, like, because I know people can watch the video, but if you can see some renders of like the progress or something, I think adding that to the page might be good for all the courses. Okay, let's see. Shanks says, I've been actually searching for opportunities in 3D character role for the past 5 to 6 months. I noticed the main positions require a minimum of 1 year of experience, making it hard to add any job. Any suggestions? Yes. Okay, so there's 2 things that are happening right now in the industry, guys, and you probably have seen this in the past couple of weeks. There's been a lot of layoffs. Like, the industry is going through a crisis right now. Now, a lot of people see this crisis as a bad thing. It's like, oh no, it's not worth it to go into the industry because of the crisis, and no one's gonna hire me, and there's no jobs. I mean, right now, no, there's not a lot of jobs, but crises usually, like, it's kind of like a roller coaster, right? So right now we're in the going down part of the process, and things will go up. Like, there will be more hirings, more projects, more opportunities out there. And I personally like the crisis period of any industry, because that's where opportunities arise. That's when you can start seeing certain areas where your skills can be useful, and that's where you could like really grow. If you just let yourself go with the crisis, that it's very depressing. But again, if you try to look for opportunities, that's where you go. Also, student reviews in your website. No, yeah, we do have reviews. It's just that since we have like, we just launched the site a couple of weeks ago, we need to wait for people that are currently watching the courses to submit the reviews. So for instance, right here we have our first review on the Marbles course. So if you guys are on the site, like if you're getting the courses from the site and you've completed at least 1 chapter, you can leave a review, and it really helps us. I would really appreciate it if you could help us out with that as well. Yeah, for instance, I think here on the Marble Designer, there's a review there by Simon Bergamini. Fantastic. So yeah, exactly. As Haram is saying, keep learning so you can be prepared when the industry rises again. Or as I've said before, hey, if you feel like you're ready and you can offer something, like create your own stuff, collectibles, your own small indie game, do assets for packs or something. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do there. Crudo Miniature says, I would like to know, what is your opinion on these layoffs? Do you think sellers were to have companies can't hold the any longer, so they do massive layoffs and then recruit some new blood? No, it's not. I mean, some of them might be that situation, but it's more about that studios are realizing that the amount of investment that they need to do to deliver like super huge games is way too big, and then if the game fails, it fails horribly, right? Like horribly. You saw that with Starfield. You saw that with Halo Infinite when it launched. You saw that with a bunch of games. Like, they spent years and thousands of man hours and money on big like projects, and then the project flips or just like sucks. It doesn't work. So, and then you see other games that took like an indie developer 6 months to develop with their friends, and they're like huge successes, like Among Us or like Flat Guys or all of this elements. So it's that thing. It's like they're trying to find out the balance to be able to keep things going. I think that the best balance, but that's a problem with capitalism, is something like what the developers at Baldur's Gate 3 did, right? Like the Larian Studios. They said, we're going to do a game. It's going to be a really good game, but we're going to take our time. And they took their time. I think they took them like 6 or 7 years to develop. However, tell that, for instance, to the Pokemon company and tell them, hey, you guys are going to spend the next, not 6 years, let's say 3 years developing an amazing freaking Pokemon game, and they don't want that because they want the sales, they want the money. They're, in that case, I would say, yeah, maybe they're greedy capitalists that don't care about the quality as long as they get the result. And that formula has worked for a long time. Like, companies are just like pushing out games every year, like Call of Duty, but now they're starting to see that players are expecting a really polished experience. Like, we've become better at being consumers and sort of like demanding that the things that they create are good. And if they're not good, we just don't buy it, right? So it's difficult to have a big staff of people do or work on something, and then if that something's not gonna work, that's just lost money. I'm not sure if you guys saw, I think Activision recently, Tar was sharing an article with me, and he, like a guy that had been working on Activision Blizzard for a long time, like 16 years, got laid off, and the game that he was working on, like, is never gonna be out. It's like, damn, that sucks. But again, like, it's sort of like part of capitalism, right? It's like, not every product can succeed, unfortunately. Yeah, exactly. And I love Pokemon, for instance. And my brother-in-law, it was very funny when I met my wife, and we were like going out and stuff. I met my now brother-in-law, and he's a gamer like me, so we're always talking about beat games and stuff. And we're both like really good fans of Pokemon. We love Pokemon. And I was talking to him, and I was like, hey, one thing that we could do, or like one thing that they could do, is I don't mind having a Pokemon like good version every 2 or 3 years, and in the years between you can have things like Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Snap, you can have Pokemon Stadium. Like, there's other options, right? But again, there are decisions that like money makes, unfortunately. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, I guess again, my friend here for you says that try to do a asset that's a little bit more advanced, like not for Roblox, but a little bit more advanced, and follow all of the process of retopology and stuff like that. Now there is Palworld. Yeah, and imagine if the Pokemon company would have done something like Palworld, like, I'm not trying guns and stuff, but at least they polished open world experience. That would be quite the difference. Quite the difference. This is Daniel Monterrosa from Veracruz, Mexico. Material artist, nice. Okay, so here's the deal, Daniel. You got some really good stuff here, man. Like, this looks very, very nice. And I'm guessing you're using, of course, a Substance Designer. I love this one, man. The first thing that I would tell you, man, is sell this stuff. Okay, start selling this stuff, like, right now. You might not get a lot of sales at first, but there might be someone who's looking for a sort of like pills material, and if you sell it for like $2, $3, $5, someone might get it. Okay, so there you go, vaca loca, excelente. So yeah, man, just sell the stuff. That would be my first advice. Now, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you, man. I've never seen a job offer here in Mexico looking for 3D material artists. Like, if you're looking for a job here in Mexico doing only this, it's gonna be very difficult to find a specialized studio that's gonna be looking for just this skill. If you know how to do other things, modeling, rendering, shader work, and stuff like that, try to incorporate that also here in your portfolio, so that you can show that you're that you have a wider range as an artist, and you can provide whatever company with more information. But if you're just gonna be freelancing, which it's perfectly valid, that's fine. Just keep it like this. And again, sell the stuff. Like, I would love to have some of this for myself. How would they be used? Displacements can be used, Ahmed. Like, displacements are an option. The Unreal Engine recently added what's the word? They added displacement back into their pipeline, so now you can use displacement, and it's not that expensive. It is expensive, but it's not that expensive. And if not, sometimes just a normal map is fine, man. Sometimes just having a normal map of this material is more than enough to make it look good. Yeah, these textures are definitely useful for an environment artist. Yeah, totally agree. Oh, like this one's right here, this food textures, these are really good, man. And again, the skills that you need as a material artist are really valuable. And it's very unfortunate that here in Mexico we don't have studios, like big enough studios that someone like you could find like a position. But yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna repeat that real quick, man. You have an amazing portfolio. This is an amazing portfolio for a texture artist or for a material artist. But unfortunately, here in Mexico, this is not something that you're gonna be able to find a role as easily. Yeah, exactly. So if you can find, like, look at the United States, there's Texas. There's a lot of studios in Texas, California, of course, Canada, and even if you go like down into Latin America, I believe in Brazil there's some big studios as well where stuff like this could be really helpful. Aryan, what's up, man? Welcome. Yeah, I used Substance Designer several years ago. I do have it because I pay for the package, for the Substance Designer package, but I've never, like, the kind of work that we do here at the studio has never needed this sort of stuff. This is really good, man. This is really, really good. Now, here's another thing that you can do. And again, collaborations, guys. Collaborations are really important. Look at this. I'm going to give you an example. So, if you, Daniel, contact, let's say, Dalton, right here. Say, hey, Dalton, I saw your stuff on the stream. Would you like to collaborate? I saw that you have this Phantasmagoria thing that you're working on. What if I make the ground material? And there you go. So now at the end, when you see the full project, it's going to look amazing, and it's going to help Dalton because he's going to have a very amazing looking material for the forest ground floor, and you're going to have a very amazing environment as well. So that's how collaboration works. There's a couple of other suggestions here on the chat. There's one from Mr. J that says, do we trim sheet Daniel and apply it to an asset? You can definitely do that. Yeah, that's another one. And then Harambe is saying, create pack of materials and you can get more sales. I will personally buy a pack of floor tiles for $10. There you go, yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I'm still making some tutorials because sometimes it's a steep learning curve, but I'm trying to apply my materials to Unreal Engine and to look cool without height and making good base. Yep, that's good, man. So yeah, material artist is a very niche sort of role, but it's it is sought after. So go for that. Cool. Carius, wait, I already took a look at yours. Oh wait, because I went back. Sorry. Sister Danielle, this is Keshi. Okay, we got a couple of characters. There you go. We got the Oni right there. So Keshav Singh finished the course right there. Nice. Yeah, I mean, looks good. I think you're learning still, of course. And I can tell by the type of anatomy that we're seeing. It's definitely good anatomy. Like it seems like you have a good grasp of the whole process. In this particular case, I'm not sure if you're using polypaint. No, it seems like it's texture. So we definitely need to improve the materials a little bit. It looks a little bit too glossy, too plasticky. So make sure to, what's the word? Make sure to go into our YouTube channel, and we have a, what's the word? Make sure to check the how to paint skin texture inside of Substance tutorial that I have right there. Yeah, prod mesh everywhere. Like the layoffs are everywhere, unfortunately. But that's the thing, and I remember my teachers telling us about this because back when I first started learning, this was, well, back when I was a nomad, it was 2013. There were still layoffs happening around, and one of our teachers told us, don't be scared about this. It's very common in the industry. The industry is like a balloon, so there's expansion and there's contraction, expansion and contraction. And he told us the best thing that you can do is when there's a expansion and you are getting a lot of projects and a lot of money, save a little bit of that money. Like normally they tell you to save at least 10% of your salary, of your income. He was like, try to save 20 or 25 if possible, because there will be some periods where you might not be able to have a job, and you use that sort of like emergency fund to support yourself throughout those months. No, Coca-Cola, I cannot do that. If I do that, my wife is gonna kill me. Okay, let's go to the next one. Alex Charles says, hello, I'm Alex. I'm a rigging artist, just graduated recently. I would like some feedback for my demo reel I've worked on last year, and any suggestion on what I should consider for future projects. Also, I'm open to collab with modelers to keep polishing my skills. Thank you. Let's go. Okay, we got a video. Vancouver Film School. Let's take a look. Even spine setup, reverse foot. Okay, my advice there is try not to do a lot of like turns. It's getting a little bit difficult to focus on the rig. Okay. Oh, that's very nice. You know how to do that system? That's very nice. Like IK system on the fingers, that's very cool. Nice, nice. Oh, this is good, man. Nice. Blend ship base facial rig. That's very good. This is the kind of stuff that Blender can't do yet. Or at least not at this level, I think. This is good. Yeah, rigging is another one of those roles that, again, is very niche. Like, you're not gonna get... Like, riggers can get a lot of freelance work. A lot, because, especially for advanced stuff, you could definitely need a little bit more work. Okay, Alex, I'm gonna give you... I'm gonna throw... Since you mentioned on the comment that you're looking for collaboration, I want to collaborate with you. I have an asset that I did last year that I really want to have rigged. And if you want to rig it, we'll share credits, of course. It's this one right here. This is Mechanical Lion I did. So if you're watching the stream, or if you watch it later and you get to this point, send me a message, because I would really love if you want to rig this character, and I think he would look very nice animated. So yeah, just let me know, man. I'm happy, and I'm open and happy to work with you, because those rigs look really, really cool. And I think this character, like having this character move, would look very, very nice as well. My idea was for the main, there's supposed to be like solar panels to be able to like flip around and move around. So yeah. Cool. Yeah, good stuff, man. Alex, how many we have left? 1, 2, 3 more. I'm happy, and at the same time I'm sad. I'm happy because my throat is killing me, and this means that we're almost over. But I'm sad because we're almost over. Okay, so this is Giovanni de Sousa. Oh, I was sounding very Italian, but you're from Brazil. Sorry about that. So Giovanni, there's no message. Yeah, I can see some stylized stuff. Again, metal edgeware, Giovanni. Come on, man. Don't do this to me. You don't want to have metal edgeware everywhere. And right now, every single piece of this element has metal edgeware. It just looks weird. It looks off. These are very cool. I mean, they're simple packs. I'm not sure if you're already selling them. You probably are. Yeah, there you go, CG Trader. Make sure to also sell them on the Unreal Marketplace if you can, because that's usually what I'm looking for. Like, I'm not saying I need one of these medical packs right now, but every now and then we do use this, and or packs or assets, and normally I look in the Unreal store first. Okay. Solid Mango says, I just finished the Mechanical Lion course last month. Yeah, that was a fun course. I like doing that course, and the design was very cool. Again, that was from my friend Eds Fox. Now, also try to have multiple levels of details, Giovanni, for your stuff, so that you can have like really high poly stuff and then really like low poly stuff. This is a little bit nicer. I do feel like some of the materials and the textures are looking a little bit too like old-fashioned. They look kind of like from old PlayStation and Xbox games, and I'm not sure if it's the modeling or if it's the texture, but I think it's a little bit on the modeling. I mean, this could definitely work for some sort of game. There you go. Now, I can see here that you're working on a studio called HiveMind. I'm not sure if you did all of these assets. Yeah, that's good stuff. See, this is where I get like suspicious. Not suspicious, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna answer the questions in just a second. Make 3D. So I see really good, like, realistic assets, and then I see this stylized assets, and I don't love these ones. They look too saturated, I don't know. I don't love it. But that's my personal taste. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad model, it's just my personal taste. And then you got like some nice weapons right here. So I would probably, in your case, I would probably just try to maybe separate or reorganize the portfolio a little bit more, so that you can separate what things are asset packs and what things are like props. Because you do have some good props like this. Spider-Man Portify. Yeah. Okay, so Mike says, hi Abe, I have been studying modular modeling texturing to be an environment artist. I took some courses from you when you were next to the lecturer. Do you have any plan to make courses for Unreal? Yes, that's going to be in the middle of the year, so probably June or July. We're going to be doing an environment course where we go into Unreal. So it's going to be like modeling, sculpting, texturing, tilings, frame sheets. And then we're going to use all of that sort of like modular approach to build a small environment on Unreal. Did you enjoy hard surface modeling, Abe, or does it get tedious for you? It depends. Like, I was doing a sword yesterday that we're going to be using for the course, for the... What's the word? For the substance course. It's going to be the first chapter. Here's a sneak peek on that. So one of the things that I struggle with when I'm making courses is that sometimes I can't find good concepts, and sometimes I find good concepts but I can't use them because they're copyrighted or something. So for this one, it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna just do my own. and I designed this sword right here. There we go. So it's gonna be like a dwarven sword. My style, whenever I draw, is very stylized, but the sword's gonna be realistic. So I was modeling it yesterday, and I don't mind modeling hard surface stuff. This is going to be chapter 1 of the new substance course. I'm going to show you all of the basic things about how to import model, how to use layers, textures, etc., etc. And then we're going to do like a more advanced project for the next couple of chapters, showing other advanced tools as well. So yeah, you guys are going to see the sword very, very soon. So yeah, that would be my advisement. Another advice would be for you, my friend, maybe do an environment on your own. Like what we saw with Danielle, I think that will be interesting as well, because you do have the skills. It seems like you do have the skills. It's just that asset packs, I don't think they have that sort of like punch to be like, oh yeah, that's like super cool. So if you could, or another thing is if the people here at Hivemind give you the option, use all of these asset packs and create a very nice little scene with nice rendering and nice illumination, so that you can showcase the whole thing. Because just seeing the pack like this, it's not as impressive as if we could see it like completely built into a scene. I enjoy battling a single soft pinch for a week when hard surface modeling. Yeah, right? Let's go. Okay, so that was Giovanni. Let's now with Minken, student 3D modeling. Here's my portfolio. This is good, man. Okay, Geralt, here's the thing, and I've mentioned this before. I'm just gonna mention it again because it's a good advice, I think. Whenever you're doing a famous character, a famous fan art, or a famous concept, the critique level that you're gonna get is gonna be higher and harsher, because people have been doing this for longer, right? Like, so you gotta be very careful. In this case, I mean, I can definitely see Girl right here, but there's a lot of things that are like not right. There's a lot of overlaps here. The hair look a little bit weird. The forms of the face are not great. The beard looks way too colored compared to the rest of the element. So yeah, he looks like Geralt, but it's not Geralt. So you will need to polish this a little bit more. The presentation, though, it's very nice. I really like this photographic presentation that you're doing. There's a little bit of depth of field. We got the rim light. This is what you guys should be looking for whenever you're presenting a character. You should try to again, always present it in the best possible way. I love this weapon, the P90. Back in 2008, 9, I think, a couple of friends here from the neighborhood, we bought replicas and we played airsoft, the little plastic pellets, and mine was one of this. I love the design of the P90, and modeling looks good. Again, metal edgeware, man, you should not have metal edgeware everywhere. It's not gonna help you. It's not gonna help you. It just looks weird. It just looks weird, but this is good. One thing we do need to see is a wireframe. We need to see a wireframe, and hopefully, if possible, we need to see the texture maps as well. Because I'm not sure if this is game ready or if this is supposed to be like for animation with subtitles. But it looks good. I like it. Oh, sorry about that. The Loki investigation. Again, metal edgeware everywhere. Careful with that. The scale looks good. It's a very dark room though, so it's a little bit difficult to find. Careful with this newspaper. It doesn't look like a newspaper. It looks like I don't know, like a photograph or something. Because newspaper is way rougher, and you're usually gonna have a lot of wrinkles, right? Like newspaper tends to get wrinkly, like very easily. Photographs are fine. Again, you would not see a desk this dirty. And careful with the bump on this one as well. It's way too much. Again, roughness here. Here, I'm gonna show you something. You inspired me with that. So let's do a quick exercise here. Okay. So let's say we're doing a letter, right? Like an old paper letter. Well, the first thing we need is a plane. Mesh plane. Let's scale it a little bit on the y-axis, so it's like that. Perfect. A little bit on the x-axis. There we go. Shift A, or sorry, Control A. Let's apply all transforms. Let's go to UV editing real quick. And the reason why I need to go to UV editing is because now the proportions of the paper change. So I'm just gonna do an unwrap. Now the proportions are fixed. There we go. File, export selection. Let's export this as an FBX. Only selected object. Let's go to the desktop. Let's call this paper. There we go. Now over here, lorem ipsum. I'm just gonna grab whatever. What's this? You guys know about the lorem ipsum, right? Like lorem ipsum is the sort of like text that you normally use to fake text. It's a very good way to it's a very good way to get a nice information. So I'm gonna go here to Photoshop. I'll answer your question in just a second, Bacaloca. But you can send me a message on Discord as well, and I'll give you more info. Let's go tamaño carta. There we go. So we go to text, and we paste. It's not pasting. Fucking shit. I wanted to paste it on like with the proper thing, but doing the whole text. Okay, let's cheat here a little bit. I'm just gonna steal this. There we go. We go to Photoshop. Paste this right here. Scale it up. It's not gonna be a full letter. Let's like keep it like this. Important. I'm gonna invert it, and the background is gonna be black. There we go. So that's our letter, right? It's a little bit too small. Let's I'm gonna just do it so that I know it's gonna look a little bit weird on the there we go. So this we're gonna save as a texture. Now we jump into substance. We're gonna bring in our paper. File, new, select, paper. Let's do 2K, and usually you wanna do OpenGL. There we go. Now I don't think we have like a paper texture by default. Oh, we do. Nice. We just drop it in here. Look at that. That already gives us a nice like paper. Now, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add this fill layer. I'm gonna add a black color, which is gonna be the ink. On the roughness, we're gonna bring this down. And on the height, we're gonna bring it up a little bit. I'm gonna add a black mask. Then I'm gonna bring in my texture. Here, letters texture. Go. And now you can literally drag and drop it into the mask. There we go. And once it's here, you can scale it and rotate it like that. Okay. Now this is what I wanted to show you. Ink has a different roughness than paper. So I would expect the paper to be really, really rough and the ink to be a little bit glossier, right? Because ink, I mean, it does dry up and everything, but you're gonna have a little bit of a difference right there. It's probably not as much. There we go. And then paper will absorb the ink. So we need to change the blending mode to something like an overlay. Okay, or maybe bring the what's the word? The opacity down a little bit so that it looks like the ink is actually there. But again, very importantly, when we switch the side, we should be able to see the glossiness of the ink. Maybe not that much, to be honest, but I would expect to see a little bit of a difference from the paper itself. So yeah, blending modes are very, very important, as Mr. J is saying right there. So yeah, this is the, again, like just a very simple thing right here. What was it, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe? And if you check what we had on yours, no, this was not yours. Where are you? Yeah, here. You can see right now here on this one right here, we don't have that. We don't have any sort of like difference on the light information from the letter to what we would expect to see. And here, for instance, we can go for like a darker letter. I know, again, the letter is not helping because the letter is what's the word? Actually, I'm gonna do something here. Usually when you draw on top of a paper, you're actually pushing the paper down. So if we go to the hide information and we push it down instead, you're very subtle. You don't need to do it too much, but just very subtle. It's gonna look more like an imprint. So that's the thing that I would probably change again to just get some variation on the paper and the ink. So yeah, that's it. Good stuff, man. Just keep polishing a little bit more, and again, do some more complex stuff, because one other thing that I noticed on this particular scene right here is that everything on the scene is very simple, very boxy, right? Like there's no complex objects. It's all very boxy, simple things. It's a lot of texture work, but it's a very basic boxy stuff. So maybe like a typewriter, maybe like a computer or something. Adding that sort of complex shapes can make the scene look a little bit nicer. I like this one a little bit more. It's not as dark. I think you did one a little bit too dark on this one right here. And finally, Sicario. Sicario. My name is Adnan. I'm a mid-level 3D artist. I've been doing 3D for almost 3 years, and I have had 1.6 years of experience in my studio. So could you give me some suggestions? Let's see. Okay, good stuff. You got some good texturing and rendering, man. This is good. Bump is a little bit too harsh on this one. Yeah, this is nice. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is good. I think in your case, my friend, again, what you need is some more complex models. So, because you already got the tools, you understand the tools, right? You know, modeling, texturing, even rendering, which is not very common that people know how to render properly. That's why in every single one of my courses, I always teach rendering, because I think it's one of the weak points in the presentation of projects. So yeah, you need to do something like more ambitious, like a tank, like a truck or something. And I can see that you like a lot of World War stuff, so you might want to do something like that, like a tractor, or just a more complex object. It's gonna take you longer, and that's the thing about the art, right? The more time you spend on something, the nicer it can look. And nowadays we're used to having everything like super fast, like content and everything is just like coming out at freaking like light speed. And it's important to understand that you might need to do a project that's going to take you 3, 4, 5 months, but once you have that project, it's going to give you a very, very nice result. Okay, so to answer the... First Javier has a question. Do you recommend adding an artist asset to your portfolio? Recently completed a test for a AAA company where I wasn't hired due to a hold on the position for now. Was giving the okay to add one to my portfolio? Yeah, why not? I mean, if they give you the okay and it's a good piece, why not? I would do it. If it's a good piece, I will do it. If you want, you can send it to me on the Discord, like privately, and I'll give you my opinion on it. But if it's good and they give you permission, go for it. I don't see why that's conflicting. It's work that you did. So every single piece that you do, guys, every single piece that you do for yourself, for a company, for a product, as long as you have permission to do it, that's work. That's experience. People sometimes wonder, hey, I don't have 2 years of experience in the industry or in the studio. Okay, you might not have that on the studio, but have you been working for the past 2 years? Have you been doing stuff? Collaboration, art tests, art challenges, every single thing that you do can be used as an experience. I know it's not the same thing as being in the studio because there are some skills that you get from a studio work, but that's still experience. That means that you have not been just crossed arms, waiting for the opportunity. So it's very, very important that you use that. Now, Baka Loca is asking about the mentorship program. I do have mentorship program available, guys. So if you guys want to have a one-on-one sessions with me, I usually handle those. They're 1-hour sessions. We can have them either weekly or bi-weekly. I don't have a lot of slots available right now. I have 2 or 3 slots available only. But you can send me a message on Discord and I'll give you more information. And what I do is we decide with both of you and me, we decide on the project that you want to work on, and I follow you along that project, and I'll help you with tips and things specifically about that project so that you can get the best possible result. We're also this is something that we're probably going to be launching on at the end of February. It's something that we've talked about, David and I, which is a live workshop. This is something that has been requested for a while now, and we're thinking about doing a live workshop about portfolio. So this live workshop would be a one-time payment, and then we'll have weekly sessions where we go over your project. You pick a project, and I help you get to a very nice portfolio result. It's probably going to be a 2-month program, so it will be 8 sessions on the weekends to go over that stuff. Oh, thanks, man. I'm glad you like the stuff. We got Meli Starskew. Hello, Abe. I'm a Mexican 3D artist. I'm thinking of studying on Vancouver Film School in Canada. You know the school? Yeah, actually, we just had a portfolio from someone here that went to BFS. Who was it? It was Alex Charles. There we go. So BFS is good. It's definitely a little bit more focused on feature film animation. So like Disney films, picture films, and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, I'm a little bit sick, man. I've been sick this whole week. So it's a good school. One thing that I like about BFS is that they have short programs. So if you only want to do it for a year or 6 months, I believe they do have short programs, and they also have longer programs. But yeah, it's one of the top schools, I would say. So it's a good option, Meli. Okay, and that's it. That's it, man. We managed to get to the end of the portfolio for January. We had a lot of submissions. It was 48 submissions, 40 submissions, or something like that. We are gonna have, of course, another portfolio submission on February. So if you guys are not on the Discord, Saran is gonna link the Discord in just a second, both on YouTube and on Twitch, and just join. We'll approve your join here, and we'll have this one soon. Now, we do have some stream questions here and there that we haven't answered. We got 2 of them, so let's answer them real quick. And with this, we'll be finishing today's live stream. Okay, guys? Now I'll get some rest because after 2 hours of talking, my throat is like, stop, please stop. How much do I take for the mentorship? You mean students? As I was mentioning, it's just right now I got 2 or 3 slots available during the weeks. So I try to manage the schedule so that it's comfortable for both of us. Sometimes it's on the morning for me or in the afternoon for you. So it depends. Nightwish says, "Hey Abe, I used to get your courses during your days at Next to Lecture. I was hoping I could get some advice from you. I'm planning to making a rigging showreel, so I wanted some advice about it. Where do I usually get the models from my showreel? How much rigging do I usually need for a rigging showreel? Lastly, is making a personal website way better, or just post like 3D artists by putting..." Yeah, I would say in Nightwish. Okay, so where do you get the models? From the community, right here. Like literally, just go into like our 3D workshop right here and look for a model that you're like, oh, that looks cool, I would like to rig that, and message the artist or just leave a post there so that you guys can start their like the conversation. For instance, this one, Chase did this freaking amazing blacksmith model a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not sure if it's rigged, but this is like it's a humanoid rig, so it's not that difficult, right? But you would need to read like the hood and stuff. So contact him and be like, "Hey Chase, do you want to do a collaboration? I would like to rig this character for you, and we can, you know, we can have or share both the credit." So that's one way to get a collaboration. Like for instance, in this case, message Adnan and say, "Hey, I saw this gun right here. I want to try my hand at rigging a sort of like a vehicle and rigging all of the mechanical contraptions and stuff. Do you want to do a collaboration?" And I mean, some people might not like that, some people will, and that's how you make connections. ¿Cuál es el costo de la mentoría? It depends on the country. In Mexico, I try to charge about 800 pesos, but for other countries, it's 45 US dollars, guys. So 45 USDs per hour. Let's see. Meli Starkus says, "I really want to grow as an artist, so I'm seeing what is the best for me. I'm specialist on look dev and surfacing. Do you have some advice?" Yeah, I mean, practice it, of course. It's the best advice, but it's just what's the word? Yeah, it has to do with again where you're at. So if you want to share your portfolio, Meli, for the next review, that will give me a little bit of a better idea of how I can help you with schools. I mean, I'm always going to recommend the school I went to right here. It's Noman. So Noman is an amazing school, but there's a lot of other ones. Vertex School is really good. BFS is really good. Even Full Sail has some cool classes as well. It depends a lot. Meli, my best advice is look at the portfolio of both the students that went there and the teachers that are teaching there. That's gonna give you a good idea of the kind of like things that you can learn there. Rixiel, thanks for the follow, man. What are your thoughts on Chaos Masons, their new Elementalist series? I haven't seen it. Oh, there's one. This one? No, Rhodes, we don't have the info on the Discord, but send me a message on Discord and I'll give you more info if you need to. Yeah, it's not something that I'm like publicly announcing, because since I have like very limited slots, I don't wanna like what's the word? Get too much requests for that and then stop doing other stuff. This is really cool, man. This is really nice. Like they were making fucking ZBrush 2. Well, I mean, what you're seeing here is like ZBrush wise, I don't see anything that's like, I'm not saying it's not impressive, it's like freaking impressive, but it's like I know all of the tools that they're using here. It's of course a lot of time. That's a thing that I always tell you guys. Like you cannot do this sort of stuff in one day, right? Like this is definitely a project that takes several weeks, probably months to do. Now this thing that you're seeing right here, it's probably just poly paint, to be honest. It's probably just poly paint and then either marmoset or keyshot for the render. It's not that like complicated to do a render like this, but yeah, it's just so much stuff here. Like the design is amazing, the forms are amazing. Like it's really good, man. This is really freaking good. Yeah, it's poly paint, right? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's poly paint. It's poly paint, but there is of course a rendering where you tweak the values a little bit to get some what's the word? Some glow and some roughness and stuff like that. But yeah, this is great. Like, I'm not sure we're going to be able to do something like this for our 3D printing course, but the idea is to get closer to this style. And that's the problem with the courses. I've always mentioned this with teaching. Like, imagine I taught you how to do this, because I feel confident that if I spend enough time on something like this, I could do it. Of course, with my style and on my own way, right? But it will take me at least, I would say, like, just like, yeah, at least like 2 or 3 months. And I'm not gonna record a 400-hour tutorial, right? Like, no one's gonna get that. Omar Sánchez is asking, cuando haces un personaje, ¿se texturiza en pose a primero o se posea y después se texturiza? O sea, se texturiza y luego se posa. Si es que le vas a hacer todo el proceso de texturas de UVs y demás. So if he's asking, do you pose and texture first, or do you texture and then pose? If you're gonna do the full process, UV textures and stuff, you texture first, you texture first and then you pose. If you're gonna do something like this, where it's just poly paint, like this is not actual UV texturing, then you can do it afterwards. Like, you can pose and then texture. It doesn't really matter. Cedric is a beast too. Would love to see you react to this one. Cedric, I'm not sure you can share links. Cedric is him from Chaos Masons as well? Holy shit. Yeah, this guy has a lot of stuff. Is this that one? This is the Earth Elementalist. Nice. No worries, man. Thank you, Omar. Let's look. Chaos Masons. Cedric. Oh, okay. So I thought Chaos Masons was a guy. Chaos Masons is like the company, and Cedric is one of the artists. Okay. Yeah, Escena is good as well, Melissa. Oh, nice. You study there? Yeah, Escena is really good. So I think it's one of the big ones here in Mexico. Holy shit, this is very abstract. Very freaking abstract. Very cool though. Yeah, so my opinion on this kind of things, I mean, it's very cool from an artistic perspective, but well, it's not about it. I'm a game artist, right? Like, I do a lot of game stuff. So when I see something like this, I want to cry. Because it's like, dude, if you tell me to retopologize this and get this game ready, I'm gonna just like kill myself. Like, this is very, very complex. This is amazing for collectibles. This is amazing for 3D printing. This is amazing for concepts. But for actual like if you wanna imagine having to get this game ready, so retopology, UVs, and then rigging. Imagine rigging these things right here. It's very complex, right? Like, so a lot of these concepts, they look amazing. They're really, really amazing. Like, they not only look amazing, they are really amazing. But from the stuff that I do, they might not be as functional, or they might not be, they might not translate as nicely to like a game and things like that. You see a lot of my videos on the Senda? Tell them to invite me. I'll be happy to do a conference for you guys, or like a workflow or something like that. It's very funny. I've gotten several messages in my career of teachers telling me that they watch my stuff to then teach it to their students, which I don't mind. I love sharing what I do, but it is very funny that I'm like a source for teachers as well. It's 2 guys, Cedric and Marco Plouf. Nice. Yeah, this is amazing stuff. This is really, really, really great stuff. But again, this is not stuff that you do in one day. Like, there's no way you can do this in one single day. It takes time. And then there's another thing here with these guys. They not only are like masters at the tools, at ZBrush in this case, but they're also really good at design, right? Like, so they know about design. They know where to place things. They know where to or how to create silhouettes and shapes that look good. And that's a skill that takes a long time to develop. Vector displacement map, Priyanshu, it's a type of displacement that uses 3 values instead of 1. A normal displacement only uses black and white. A vector displacement uses RGB. And what it allows you to do is it actually allows you to curve things. So usually with the normal displacement, you can only push things up and down. With the vector displacement, you can actually create curvature. So Like this mushroom right here is the perfect example. A normal displacement map would only push things up and down. With a vector displacement, you have the information to actually create the things underneath it. It's a little bit complex. I've tried using it before in Blender. In Maya, it's not as easy. But in ZBrush, for instance, you can get some nice results in ZBrush. Let me show you. There you go. Crudo Miniatura says, in fact, I work as a teacher right now, and I also watching you. Well, also in my case, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and I have said this like plenty of times. Like, there's no way someone can know everything. So I have my things that I know about, and I know how to teach certain things, and I teach that. That's what I share. But there are so many things that you can learn from someone else, and that's the beauty of the humankind, right? Like, we learn. As long as you're not a dick about it, you can learn so much from from a lot of people, and we keep pushing art forward. Let's see here. So again, the vector displacement maps, they added this chisel 3D brushes, which are vector displacement maps. So for instance, we have this ear right here, and if I just like do this, as you can see, it's projecting the ear, but it's also creating that cavity right there, which with the normal alpha will be pretty much impossible, because this is a 3D alpha. It has a vector displacement information, so it's a really good way to generate detail on elements, because otherwise, again, like all of those like inner parts of the brush will be very, very difficult to do. I've been wanting to do. I'm gonna do one. Vector displacement tutorial. I did one back in Nexttude, but I'm gonna do a new one, because if you go here to the lightbox, you go to projects here on the miscellaneous, and these are the brush 3D templates that you use. So whatever you sculpt right here, you can then transform into an actual brush. So it's relatively easy to create like ears, scars, things like that. Omar Sánchez, ¿es difícil conseguir un internship en el extranjero? It's a little bit tougher. It's un poco más difícil. It's a little bit tougher, but it depends on your portfolio. Like, there's very, very big Latin American artists that are working on big productions. There's a very famous TikToker. He works in animation, in effects. He does like hair and cloth simulation. I forgot about his name. There's also another very famous TikToker, and she works as again as an effects artist at ILM, I think, or Digital Domain or something like that. I have several good friends of mine that work in Canada. One of them works as a game modeler. Another, Cruz Contreras, that's right. He's the animator. Another one is he works as a post-production artist, so he does like color correction and image integration. I have another friend that works as a game designer, so he does like coding for games. So it is possible, but it is a little bit trickier. If you already have a visa, that's even easier. Well, not even easier, but it's a little bit easier. But yeah, like that's the problem, right? Like it's easier for a company to hire someone from their own country than it is to hire someone from a different country. But it is possible. It is possible. I've worked for American companies several times as a freelancer, though. But that's a little bit of a different thing. Do I recommend specializing or to be a generalist? Right now, I would say generalist. A couple years ago, I would have said specialist. But right now, again, with all of the things happening in the industry, it's easier to get a job if you know a little bit about everything. Because let's say you're a modeler, sculpting artist, and you know a little bit of rigging and animation. Well, in that case, well, actually, let me show you what I mean. So, a couple of years ago, they would tell you, if you want to be a character artist, just do that. If you want to be an animator, just do that. Now, I would say that you want to grab sort of like the big areas. So here, I would put a modeler. So if you want to be a modeler, you need to know sculpting. You need to know, of course, UVs. You need to know texturing. If you can know, for instance, a little bit about rendering and look dev, that's really valuable as a modeler because you can do all of this stuff. Animators should know about rigging, should know about animation, should know about like dynamics, a little bit about, you know, like fluids or hair or things like that, like I was mentioning, stuff like that. So just a little bit about the things that you would normally encounter. So let's say cloth and hair. content here will be like, this will be the package for an animator. So you're an animator generalist because you know a lot about this. Now, plus things to know would be things like storyboard or like what's the name that they use for previs? Previs is the thing that they do sometimes. So all of this helps right here. Same for a modeler. If you're a modeler and you know a little bit about concept art, if you know a little bit about design, that helps because you can help on those like early stages of the creation of the process. And then you got BFX artist, and here you should know about integration of light plates. You should know about post-production, of course, fire, smoke, soft bodies, all this stuff. So again, it's kind of like the whole package. And finally, post-production, where you focus a little bit more on editing, stuff like that. Here, to be honest, I don't know, because this is not my area of expertise. But these are like the three big ones for 3D. So modeler, animation, and BFX. And all of these are like several areas that you should try to know about so that you can help more on the production of whatever it is you're working on. More Gaming says, Abe, help. So when I move my T-Rex jaw, it moves it up and it makes it huge with move brush, even though I try moving the jaw from the bottom to make the shape, but it doesn't work properly. I would need to see some pictures, man. If you can share them on the Discord, on the help channel, I might be able to help there. Yeah, exactly, Omar. If you have a portfolio and you want to be a modeler for character, you might want to do characters, you might want to do some weapons, you might want to do some props and some creatures. That way you're not just a guy that does characters. You're a guy that can model anything. Arian says, how good is the demand career for a 3D artist specific to vehicles? I would say it's very low, to be honest. Like, you might have to do vehicles every now and then, but again, as I'm mentioning to Omar, you need to know a little bit about everything. Like, you need to be able to model a little bit about everything. Roadstar in Zaragoza, Spain. Zaragoza, España. Me tendrás que invitar una paella, mi estimado, cuando vaya a España. I want to visit Spain. I want to visit Europe as well. ¿Aplica eso también para un texturizador o surface artist? I would say so, yeah. So you should be able to texture clean surfaces, stylized surfaces, dirty surfaces. Yeah. Sí, ya les he dicho que sí hablo español, chingados. ¿Cuántas veces lo tendré que repetir? Hablo español, I speak English, and I also speak a little bit of well, I understand Italian, and I understand a little bit of German. When I was in high school, I had German classes, but I'm not fluent on it. Aquí andamos, Venter, aquí andamos. Todos los viernes, 11 de la mañana, México. Aquí estamos. Hard to imagine any of those concepts in motion. What concepts, man? What do you mean, Rob? Ich kann Deutsch verstanden, aber ich kann es nicht sprechen. Is it true that if someone can model cars really good, then doing other things in hard surface? Yeah, of course. Yeah. If you know the what's the word? If you know the basics of hard surface modeling, doing cars, then doing other similar things like very like stylized robots and things like that becomes a little bit easier. I only know the bad words in German from when I was working there. Yeah. My best friend, or one of my best friends, he's Italian, so he taught me a little bit of Italian. Io posso parlare italiano. Vado is what's another one? It's like I'm going. Or wait. Soy fan desde que vi tu curso de rigging, and that's a little bit of an older course. Again, it's just a very very basic sort of like a rigging course. We go over like the main things. I'll probably do the thing is I'm not a rigger. Like, I know the basics of rigging. I can rig simple stuff and simple assets like I do on that course, but it's not something that I'm gonna be doing. Like I don't know how to do facial rigging, for instance. But hey, we might be collaborating with who was it here on the portfolios? I think he's Mexican as well. Where is he? Portfolio. Carlos, I think he was his name. No, Alex Charles. There you go. Oh, you were talking about Chaos Mason. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those concepts, Rob, might be a little bit difficult to get properly there. Yeah, Alex, there you go. ¿Crees que estudiar en Canadá, por ejemplo, Vancouver, te puede hacer? Yes. If you study at a school in another country, then you're gonna get more easy opportunities on that particular country. Exactly. Yeah, like, and this is something that I've talked about before. When I was in Nomad, I got job offers to stay in the United States and work at like other productions. The thing is, and that was my personal decision, not to do that. So some of you might be like, why are you crazy? Why did you take that option? But again, in your life, you're gonna have to make decisions, and you're gonna have to follow certain paths that some people might not agree with. But if that's what you want to do, then it's perfectly valid. To me, coming back to Mexico and doing this, which is what I'm doing, has been like the best thing, the best decision I could have made. Even though I sacrificed like the opportunity to work on like other stuff, right? But if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be married. I wouldn't have an amazing kid. So it's the life decisions that you make, and they're all perfectly valid. I think I did it. I don't think I have done that short, but I've mentioned the fact that in this industry we tend to think that having your name in the big production is one of the best, or it's the goal to have, and I'm not sure about that. Like, I think as long as you're gonna live a good life, do good stuff and cool stuff, your name on the big project, it's cool, it's nice. But it's not, it doesn't. I did the shirt. I was mentioning it doesn't define you as an artist, and it doesn't define you as a person, right? So you can be an amazing artist and not have your name on a Marvel film. You can be an amazing person and not have your name on the next Call of Duty. So it's cool to work on those projects, but it's not the only way to do stuff. Son cinco sacas al pastor. Gresgo says, was wondering how hard it is to get a job abroad in way like being from the UN. Yeah, it is difficult, guys. It is difficult. You need to be really, really, really good because the competition is fierce. There's a lot of really good artists. There's a lot of very good artists in each country, right? In the US, in Canada. So it's easier for studios to hire those artists than it is to hire someone from someone else. So many Spanish-speaking guys in chat. Yeah, there you go, right? Where do I currently work? Well, I got my brand, as you guys know. This brand, right? Ableo 3D. So we do a lot of this stuff. I also work at a university called Universidad Carolina here in Mexico. And these guys have they have two careers. One is called Creatividad Tecnológica, and the other one is game development. So I've worked on both of those as a teacher. I'm one like the head 3D teachers right there. I started this careers actually, well, it's not that I started the careers, but when the career started, I was the main 3D guy for a long time. I was teaching like 4, 5, 7 classes with them. So that one was it's been a cool experience working here for several years now. I've worked at other universities as well, big ones here in Mexico, and I have a studio. Is it this one? Yes. So Hyperlab is the studio that I own. It's a very small studio. Just have like 4 or 5 artists right now, and we develop VR experiences for museums and companies and stuff like that. So right now this is those are like my three main business careers, right? Like teacher at the universities, this brand where I teach as well, all of my premium courses and YouTube channel and Twitch and stuff, and Hyperlab where we develop experiences. So those are the main things I do. Omash. Bacaloca is asking, I have a question that may be personal. Do you know any ways to get a student loan like USA here in Mexico? I got accepted in Vertex School, but it's kind of expensive for my specialty and I don't have the money. I'll sell the materials and stuff to gather the money. Oh, that's a tricky one. You might want to check. I know we have a shitty government, right? But I know the government sometimes has those sort of like scholarships. You might also want to try and look for foundations. Like, I think in Telmex they have a foundation. So reach out. Just write a letter, like an email. It's like, hey, I got accepted to this. I want to use this. I need some help. Of course, banks are a good way as well. But yeah, it's a tricky situation. Vertex is really good though. It's good that you got it as well. Yeah, no, of course, Crudo. Like, that's one of the things that I love about this thing that I'm doing right now, is that if we get a big project, I have a huge pool of students with amazing skills, such as you guys, that we could like create amazing things. And hopefully, if I'm ever in the need of getting a job, I could just reach out and someone of you guys will also help me out. Is there any particular skills that you think can unlock lots of doors compared to others? Let's say BFX or tech art. Not sure. Gresgo, it's a tricky question. Like, there are certain skills that are rarer, right? Like, I wouldn't say there's a specifically one that unlocks more doors, but there are certain skills that really like make me, especially when I'm reviewing portfolios, like, oh, this is good. Like, this guy has some stuff, right? So I'm not sure. Like knowing about rendering is very important, I would say. Like, lighting your rendering, like being able to present your stuff in a really nice way, it's very important. Rigging is important, I would say. Again, if you're a modeler, if you're a character artist and you know how to rig, that's good, because you know how to make better characters so that the rigging works better. So that kind of stuff, it's again, it's important. Yeah, January right now, this has been like the darkest months in our industry. But as I was telling you earlier, this is always an opportunity as well. Like, whenever you see a crisis, there's always it can always be a way also to find opportunities. And another thing, I mentioned this before, remember guys, the 3D, or like the skills that we know as 3D artists are not only useful for the entertainment industry. I know we tend to think about the 3D art as movies, commercials, and games, right? But I've seen people make bank on other things like 3D printing, manufacturing, industrial design, architectural visualization, concert things where you see things on the screens, AR technology, VR technology. So there's so many projects out there where our skills are very useful. And that's always been my advice. Keep your mind open and see those opportunities so that you can make good use of them. Anyway, guys, it's 1 p.m. over here. I'm feeling very tired, so I'm gonna stop the stream right now. We're gonna close it today. I have a very cool stream prepared for next week. I want to go over my career, or show you a little bit of my old works, like how I started when I was first starting 13 years ago. And we're gonna have more stuff on the YouTube channel, on the Discord as well. You guys are asking for mentorships, please send me a message on Discord and I'll be happy to give you more information. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is, of course, by going to our site, avdl3d.com, and checking some of the premium courses. If there's something that you guys want to check it out and learn about, we got a Maya course, a Blender course, a ZBrush course, and now a Marvel Designer course. So there's a little bit of everything. There's a little bit of something for everyone. Thank you for your wishes. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you back on the next